to show you how to do this. Others do it by letter to the firms or firms they are considering and keep a copy for the records and the auditors. If the estimated fee for the service, not the entire project, just the service, is less than $30,000, you don't have to give an explanation. So if it's less than $30,000, you don't have to say nothing. You just say, hey, I'm not going to do this. You just exempt yourself in writing. If the estimated fee is $30,000 or more, you write in whatever form it takes, and let's also state the reasons for the exemption and the circumstances thereto, attendant thereto. So she asked this thing, what kind of a justification is sufficient? The statute doesn't say what kind of justification is sufficient, and the courts haven't weighed in on this yet. My advice is that you should keep in mind the basic principles of fairness, transparency, and getting the biggest bang for your taxpayers' buck, and especially when you're dealing with public construction. The additional principle of safety, of course. My guess is that local governments most often exempt themselves when they want to consider cost up front. And that seems to me to be a reasonable justification. So I told you, we are wasting about $100,000. Well, all in all, about $130,000 that did not have to be done this way. This is not a project that requires a rocket scientist to do.
Amen.
This is a library. This is a building. It's not a manufacturing plant. It has sophisticated machinery that's attached here to go and has to be synchronized to make things work. This is a building. Only thing it has is information technology in there, basically, other than a building. So I ask you, how many people do you think in Gates County would actually be qualified to do this? You can exempt yourself. You don't have to do this. To me, it's just a terrible waste of taxpayers' money. Now, I've acknowledged to you, we need to do something with our library. We're in the process with this courthouse right now of doing something, trying to do something. There was 6 firms that we interviewed last Wednesday. I presented this to you. I had told the commissioners, and I told you about this months ago. But then it came up Wednesday. And I went to meet them in my office because they questioned this and sent it to each of these commissioners here. Mr. Chappell acknowledged on Wednesday that I was right. He acknowledged that in the meeting. You can get the audio tape of that day and see that. He's right. Well, if you read the paper that came out yesterday, which I have it here, and I'm going to discuss that on the commissioner's comments. I called Mr. Bryant last night. That meeting took place on Tuesday. There must have been a divine intervention between Tuesday and Wednesday. I don't know what happened. But, you know, I don't know how you wake up from Tuesday to Wednesday and all of a sudden you know something.
Well, Van Winkle.
So anyhow, that's my problem. We're spending money that we don't have to do like this. We can still get $1.5 million, but we don't have to spend this $100,000 to get there.
Nope.
Don't have to. I have got, all you have to have is a certified engineering drawing. I know several engineers for $5,000 with a TurboCAD or AutoCAD that you can get you just about as detailed as you want on that engine, on the design to present to the builder right here. The design build will work, but you have to get your head out of the sand.
Thank you.
And be innovative and proactive and know how to do things and stay with the confines of the law. Do you think I want to get locked up? No, not at all. But I'll tell you what, I'm serious about saving taxpayers' money.
Finished up?
I'm done on this issue.
Kenny, let's talk back to the contract that we were talking about before.
I'm satisfied with the changes that have been made, and I have no problem with it.
All right, so if you want to address anything on this issue?
I would, please. Commissioner Roy brought up some points, and I'm not sure if we're confusing issues or what, but the exemption in the Mini Brooks Act requires, is in reference to procurement of an architect and engineer. It does not exempt you from whether you have to have an architect or engineer. And since this item wasn't on the agenda and it's kind of come out of nowhere, I didn't bring the documentation to discuss this, and we can at a later date. But I will say in clear and emphatic terms that the exemption from the Mini Brooks Act, and I don't need to hold up, I have that. Mini Brooks Act exemption is whether you procure or not whether you need one or not, which are two totally different terms. I know what it says. I'm telling you what the answer is. The answer is you can exempt yourself from the Mini Brooks Act in the procurement process, not on whether you need an architect or not. You're confusing two distinct terms. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chappell, Mr. Chappell, I'm not confusing that whether I need one or
John,
not.
John, would you have a little respect for us too? I've been accused of not having respect for you. I would like you to have some for us now. I am the chairman of the board,
That's
and I would
correct.
ask you to let me run this meeting.
I will do that in the commissioner's comments. I'll be glad.
Thank
to
you,
come
sir.
in.
I will appreciate
No
that.
problem.
I would like to apologize for signing this contract and causing this issue. I was under the impression that when we made the, motion to accept the contract, it would cover the changes that Henry was interested in before it was signed, and it was. At this point in time, are there any other issues with this contract, or would anybody like to move forward or not? If not, we'll put it behind us and move to the next.
I would like to have time to review it. The finished contract.
That's fine. Anybody else, or any other comments on this contract? What
I'd
is,
also like Pitt to review it.
what's the pleasure of the board for the contract? Would you like to wait, or would you like to move forward? Henry?
Well, my initial vote was against the contract anyway. So, from the standpoint of whether or not everyone is going to understand it, I think that should be up to each commissioner. I wrote it, so obviously, my position is not going to change. But if the other commissioners want to move forward on it, I have no problem with it. If you want to wait, as Johnny has suggested, until Monday and do a phone con for approval, I have no problem with that. I'm with whatever the board wants to decide.
Jack?
Tony, can we have a phone conference on Monday over this contract and take a vote?
Yes.
Okay, I think that would be from now to Monday, should give us sufficient time to review the contract, and I'll make a motion that we have.
Let me get comments from everybody, go about that one. Don?
I find it comical, but anyhow, I'm not gonna go through the formality of wasting time till Monday, regardless of what I say. Obviously, it doesn't make any difference. So, we're headstrong enough that we're gonna move forward regardless of the situation. Let's do it now. I'm gonna vote no, but
All right.
hey, you guys can do what you want to.
Kenny?
It's your baby.
Kenny, any comment?
Considering Mr. Howard doesn't have any, comments, and he's already told us how he's gonna vote, I might as well say move forward.
Well, you want to make that as a motion, or Jack? Jack? Yes.
Mr. Chairman, we've gone down the line, and there is no need for us to wait. So I make a motion that we approve the contract as amended.
I've got a motion, I have a second.
Discussion. I'd like for Pitt to review this before we do that.
So we got a motion on the floor right now. I've got a motion on the floor, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion, a second, all in favor, raise your right hand. All hands. All opposed, raise your right hand like sign. All right, motion carries.